Tom Seivert will be speaking tonight. He's using photographs from several Howard County birders who traveled with Bonnie to Costa Rica last year. And he's put together the slide program to show us what fabulous birds we're seeing and to give birders who will be traveling to Costa Rica an idea of what they might see. And Gretel Bustos is here with her daughter, Sophia. Hi, Gretel. So Gretel is a native of Costa Rica, and she grew up with scarlet macaws, and she sent me this photograph of one of her local birds last time she visited home. So if you have any questions about the country Costa Rica, Gretel, our member from Howard County Bird Club, can help you there. So back to Tom. He began bird watching only in 2023 after he retired. But with great enthusiasm and passion, he's been trying to gain what he calls passable skills. So I will also say he is very humble. Yeah. So he is the recipient of the 2023 Rookie of the Year Award for his volunteer spirit. He joined the club and immediately became a state director and then our vice president. Tom also led the American Woodcock monitoring at the MPEA last year. So it's with great pleasure that I present tonight's speaker, Tom Seivert.
Welcome, everyone. Can you hear me in the back?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So I was elected by our group to be this presenter, so I was the stuckey, and I'm just trying not to embarrass myself or them. So birding in Costa Rica. This presentation highlights our 2025 birding trip to Costa Rica. Costa Rica is one of the world's top birding destinations. Though it covers just 0.03% of the world's surface area, it harbors almost 5% of the world's biodiversity, with over 900 species of birds recorded. Okay, next slide. Oh, I'm sorry. There we go. Our trip was organized by Bonnie Ott, and we had 10 members from the Howard Bird Club participating. We visited 4 distinct ecological zones, each with its own unique bird communities. 315 species in 10 days was an outstanding total. Costa Rica's compact geography means that you can move between dramatically different habitats in just a few hours of driving. And just like in Oz, the wildlife was strange and exotic, and it wasn't limited just to birds. Next, oops. So to continue with the Wizard of Oz theme, when you step off the plane, you're greeted by a giant toucan. Costa Rica's lush tropical landscape is immediately striking on your arrival. The country's motto is Pura Vida, pure life, and it really captures the feeling of being immersed in such abundant nature. Our guide, Eric Guzman, was truly exceptional. A skilled local guide is absolutely essential for tropical birding. They know the calls, the microhabitats, and they can spot camouflage birds that we would walk right past. It's only due to Eric's expertise that we made this impressive species count that was possible. Here's a glimpse of the country with a kind of cartoonish topographical map. Those numbers are the hotels that we stayed in. And this is a detail map showing the actual route that we had. As the club members were on the trip, no, I was always with a map there following where we were. Our first day, we arrived at this hotel, the Hotel Bougainville. It's a favorite among birders because of its extensive gardens that attract dozens of species. So even before you officially start the tour, you can rack up a nice list just walking the grounds. Eric here is orienting us before we set off, and a good pre-trip briefing covers what to expect, how to move quietly on trails, and tips for spotting and photographing birds in dense tropical vegetation. And here are two examples of what we found on the grounds. On the left, you have the mottled owl, a medium-sized tropical owl that roosts in the day in dense vegetation like this bamboo. And to the right, you have Thomas's honey-eating bats. They're one of the few bat species that feed on nectar and pollen and play an important role as pollinators. They also look alarmingly like the winged monkeys of Oz. And that will be my final reference to the movie, I promise. Now we enter the rainforest section of our trip, the Arenal volcano area. Arenal is one of Costa Rica's most iconic landmarks, a near perfect volcanic cone that was highly active until 2010. The surrounding rainforest receives over 150 inches of rain annually, creating incredibly lush habitat. And here's the map. So on the insert down on the left, you see the segment of the total trip, and there the exact route. And this took us from San Jose northwest into the Arenal area. We had to almost circle the volcano to get to where we would stay. And it passes through Costa Rica's Central Valley with dramatic mountain scenery. And this was our home away from home. Our bus coach and driver and the ever-present snacks. When snacks don't suffice, we stop for lunch. And the first day was lunch at San Luis in the Highlands. It had great food, but also a tornado of tanagers at its feeders. Costa Rica has over 40 species of tanagers. And when fruit feeders attract multiple species at once, it creates an overwhelming kaleidoscope of color. And as warned, we have photographs from our photographers here in the group, and they are the stars of the show, along with the birds. And here's our first. A bay-headed tanager. It's just a stunning bird with its distinctive chestnut red head, contrasting with green body and blue underparts. It's found in humid forest canopy and edges, and they travel in mixed species flocks, regular visitors to fruit feeders. The blue and gold tanager is restricted to the highlands of Costa Rica and western Panama. Its shimmering blue and golden plumage makes it one of the most photogenic tanagers. It's also the official bird of the Cub Scouts. Just a joke, sorry. Two species side by side. The blue-gray tanager in the back is one of the most common and widespread tanagers. You'll see them everywhere, from gardens to forest edges. The emerald tanager in the foreground, by contrast, is a highland specialty with brilliant green plumage accented by black and yellow. The green honey creeper, despite its name, is actually a tanager. The male is stunning turquoise green with a black head. The silver-throated tanager to the right is a common but beautiful highland species, bright yellow with a silvery white throat patch and black streaked back. The crimson collared tanager is one of the most striking tanagers with jet black plumage and brilliant crimson red collar, rump, and breast. It's relatively uncommon, so it's always a treat to see. The red-legged honey creeper is a small tanager family bird. The breeding male is spectacular, violet blue with turquoise crown, black wings and back, and bright red legs. They feed on nectar, fruit, and insects. The tawny-capped euphonia is a small, compact tanager family bird. Recent DNA evidence confirms that they are indeed nested within the tanager family, and they specialize in eating mistletoe berries and play an important role in seed dispersal. There's another shot of the, excuse me, did I pass one? No, here we go. Here's another look at the emerald tanager. This species is found only in the highlands of Costa Rica and western Panama. One of the regional endemics that make birding here so special. I think I passed part one. No. There we go. Here's a wonderful action shot showing three tanager species together. In the foreground, the scarlet-rumped tanager, the crimson collared in the background, and the green blur flying down in the right corner is the emerald tanager. So mixed species feeding frenzies like this one are one of the thrills of tropical birding. And if you have a camera, you just can't go wrong. All right, leaving lunch, we had a stop on the way. A kind of a humorous and charming rural scene on the drive to Arenal. It's like a svelte drum major leading the tuba section of the circus parade. The western cattle egret is found throughout the tropics, always in close association with livestock. Originally from Africa, they colonized the Americas only in the 1950s and have spread rapidly. They follow large animals to catch insects stirred up by their movements. The Peratic flycatcher is a nest pirate. Rather than building its own nest, it aggressively drives other birds away from their nests and takes over. Even nests as large as those of the Oropendula are frequent targets. And despite its bullying behavior, it's actually a rather plain-looking bird, although this one has tons of attitude, and Bonnie captured it just right. And Arenal. The Arenal Observatory Lodge offers this spectacular panoramic view of Lake Arenal. The lodge was originally built as a research station to monitor the volcano and sits just 1.7 miles from the crater. It's now one of the premier birding lodges in the country, with over 500 species recorded on its property. The volcano itself would be to the right, upper right of this picture. We never saw the top of that volcano because it was sucked in with fog or clouds or rain the entire time we were there. The Montezuma oropendula is one of the most charismatic birds in Costa Rica. These large chestnut-bodied birds with blue facial skin and a bright yellow tail build spectacular hanging nests, woven pouches that are up to 6 feet long that dangle from tall trees in colonies. They have a liquid gurgling call that's one of the signature sounds of the tropical forest. They sound almost like aliens in a bad science fiction movie. And there's a close-up of the head showing its bare blue facial skin, the bright orange-tipped bill, and that distinctive chestnut plumage. It's an incredible display when they hang upside down from branches with their white burbly song. And I'm going to play the song actually for you. One second. There we go. Make sure my sound's up. That's their call, and when they make it, they are actually tipping themselves down off the branch. It's really remarkable to watch. And this is just a wonderful shot of a Montezuma oropendula in flight, showing off the bright yellow outer tail feathers that flash like a beacon. And you can see this was characteristic of what it looked like while we were there. That fogged in. The crested guan is a large turkey-like bird of the forest canopy. They're an important seed disperser for tropical forests, swallowing the large fruits whole. And though they look clumsy, they can surprisingly fly well through dense canopy. They're usually found in pairs or small family groups. The great curassow is one of the largest and most impressive forest birds in Central America. Males are glossy black with a prominent yellow knob on the bill. They're increasingly threatened by habitat loss and hunting, and they need large tracts of undisturbed forest. So seeing one is always a highlight. The scarlet-thighed Dacnus is enjoying one of our rain showers. Despite its bright colors, they can be surprisingly hard to spot high in the treetops or in the brush. They feed on nectar, fruit, and insects. The golden hooded tanager is a jewel of the Caribbean slope forests. Its golden hood, black mask, and blue wings create an eye-catching combination. They travel too in mixed flocks with other tanagers and honey creepers. And yes, there were toucans. The yellow-throated toucan is the largest toucan in Costa Rica. Their enormous bill actually accounts for almost a third of their body length, yet it's remarkably lightweight, made of a honeycomb of keratin supported by thin bone struts. And despite looking impossibly front-heavy, they're quite agile flyers. Okay. It takes a lot of work to remain this gorgeous. Oh, there, right there. Makes me itchy too. It's amazing though, you can see how skilled they are with this huge bill. It's just so precise. Next up. There we go. The keeled-billed toucan is Costa Rica's national bird. Its rainbow-colored bill features green, orange, red, and blue, making it one of the most recognizable birds in the world. Toucans are important seed dispensers. They swallow whole fruits whole, just like the guans, and they regurgitate or pass the seeds far from the parent tree. They nest in tree cavities, sometimes with the whole family crammed in together with their bills folded over their backs. And after a full day of birding, everyone has worked up a serious appetite. And birding trips in Costa Rica feature wonderful local cuisine. Rice and beans, gallo pinto, fresh tropical fruits, excellent coffee, and plenty of hearty dishes to fuel those long days in the field. And after supper every night, you had the nightly checklist review, which is a birding trip tradition. The guide calls out each species and participants confirm sightings. It's a chance to review the day's highlights and tally up the running trip list. But wait, we weren't done yet. Night walks are one of the special experiences on birding trips in the tropics, and Costa Rica's rainforest come alive after dark with frogs, insects, and nocturnal mammals. Go ahead. We're holding flashlights to get these pictures, and it is raining. I don't have a camera, but I can hold a mean flashlight. And there you see some of those little guys. And to get there, we needed to cross this suspended bridge at RNL, which added an extra element of adventure to our night walk. You're crossing on a swinging bridge in pitch darkness with just flashlights isn't for the faint of heart. Wow. The iconic red-eyed tree frog, perhaps one of the most photographed amphibians in the world and an unofficial symbol of Costa Rica's rainforest. Their brilliant red eyes are thought to be a form of startled coloration. So when disturbed, they flash open their eyes to momentarily confuse predators, buying them time to escape. They are strictly nocturnal and they spend their days sleeping on the undersides of large leaves. This is a guy took this picture and I held the flashlight, so that's my credit. But that's just a spectacular picture.
Yeah.
It looks like a children's toy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And there's the back view of the same tree frog, reveals the vivid blue and white striped flanks and bright orange feet, all of which are hidden when the frog is sleeping with its legs tucked in. These colors are also thought to serve as flash coloration to confuse predators. In contrast, you have the masked tree frog. They get their name from the dark mask-like band across their eyes. They are muted cream and brown, but beautifully camouflaged against tree bark. And here's a close-up of a masked tree frog showing its intricate skin texture and the delicate toe pads that allow these frogs to cling to smooth vertical surfaces. Tree frogs have specialized disc-like toe pads with tiny channels that create wet adhesion, similar to a suction cup. That guy has a kind of an enigmatic grin to me, looks like. Next, and one more here. We have a noir picture, beautifully atmospheric shot of a frog. Night photography in the rainforest is challenging, but can produce stunning results when the flashlight catches the subjects just right. Next morning, the Sendero Bulgarian Trail near Arenal is a privately maintained trail famous for its excellent birding. It passes through a mix of secondary growth forest and wetland habitat, attracting an impressive diversity of species, not just birds, but of all species. Here's a huge bird dropping on the leaf. No, and wait, there's something far more extraordinary. It's a bolus spider. Bolus spiders are masters of deception. They mimic bird droppings to avoid predators, and they hunt by swinging a silk line tipped with a sticky globule, that's the bolus, to snag moths out of the air. They even produce pheromones that mimic moth mating chemicals to lure their prey closer. And it's as gross as all get out. This bolus spider was truly extraordinary. Only the 11th record of this subspecies worldwide, and just the 3rd ever documented in Costa Rica. This is the kind of once-in-a-lifetime natural history discovery that makes field trips so exciting. Can you roll the film? Here's Bonnie. Into this video.
I don't come over here. It looks like the poop. Oh my God. I'm so cute. For me, just like I'm so excited. Yes. Get up over yes. Oh my God. Yes. I can't believe Look at it. Bonnie, and you got it yourself.
No wonder Bonnie was excited. Oh. Oh my, okay. And there were birds caught on this trail as well. Back to birds, we have the black and white owl. Unlike many owls, they are found frequently in pairs and sometimes can be located during their daytime roosts. On the right, the rufous-tailed jacamar, sometimes called the tropical kingfisher for its similar shape and hunting style. It sits on exposed perches and sallies out to catch large insects like butterflies and dragonflies. Its iridescent green-gold plumage shimmers in sunlight. The barred antshrike. This male has a bold black and white barring and a shaggy crest. They're in the antbird family, named for their habit of following army ant swarms to catch fleeing insects. On the right, you have Lesson's motmot, has a family's signature racket-shaped tail. The barbs near the end of the tail The central tail feathers fall off either naturally or preened away, creating the distinctive paddle shape that they swing like a pendulum. The brown three-toed sloth, and the Chewbacca comparison is quite apt. Three-toed sloths are incredibly slow metabolizers. They can take up to a month to digest a single meal. Their fur hosts an entire ecosystem of algae, fungi, and insects. The green tinge of the algae helps camouflage them in the canopy. Now we move to the cloud forest in Monteverde. Cloud forests are one of the most magical and threatened ecosystems on Earth. They exist in a narrow altitude band where clouds and mist regularly engulf the forest, creating a perpetually humid environment draped in mosses and orchids. Monteverde's cloud forest was made famous by Quaker settlers who established a nature reserve in the 1970s. And there's our map showing that part of the entire trip on the left, and then the detail crossing around Lake Arnall as we climbed into the Tilaran mountain range. There's some views along the way. The scenery around Lake Arnall was spectacular. It's Costa Rica's largest lake, created by a 1979 dam project. The area sometimes is called Little Switzerland on the right, for its green rolling hills and mountain backdrop. The drive also passed through windswept ridges with wind turbines, and the rugged terrain gives a sense of how remote and wild this part of Costa Rica remains. We stayed at the Hotel Fondavella in Monteverde, a lovely lodge set amidst beautiful tropical gardens that attract plenty of birds. And one of the wonderful things about birding lodges is that the birding never really stops, even at breakfast. When the wait staff joins you in looking at birds, you know you're in the right place. And here's what we were looking at, the masked titria, a distinctive black and white bird with bare red facial skin, has a somewhat clown-like appearance. They nest in old woodpecker holes and are often seen in pairs perched conspicuously on high branches. This one has something to say about our breakfast, I guess. Our next stop was Cloud Forest holds many species found nowhere else. We went to this reserve. And there's a picture of the focus and concentration that's required for tropical birding, because spotting birds in dense vegetation takes patience and sharp eyes. Many tropical birds are heard far more often than seen, but fortunately with Eric, he got us all on every bird, got the photography, got the scope on it. It was uncannily amazing. The emerald toucanet is a smaller cousin of the larger toucans, about the size of a blue jay. It's a cloud forest specialty with gorgeous emerald green plumage and a colorful bill. And this one specimen seems happy to give a wide Jimmy Durante smile for the camera, mugging for the camera. Go ahead. With its mate in the tree next to them. There we go. Looking around at all sides. No. There we go. It's amazing to see them climb in. The common toady flycatcher is a tiny hyperactive bird, one of the smallest flycatchers in Costa Rica. Here we see it on the left collecting nesting material, and on the right working on its nest. They build these remarkably long hanging nests made of plant fibers and often suspended from a branch tip, as is the case here. This nest can be up to 18 inches long, which is enormous for so tiny a bird. And of course, there's the hummingbird galleries. The Monteverde Hummingbird Gallery is a must-see attraction. Go ahead. With multiple sugar water feeders, it attracts dozens of hummingbirds. Costa Rica is home to over 50 hummingbird species, more than the entire United States and Canada combined. You can hardly not get a good picture at these ranges. On the left, the green-crowned brilliant is a large, robust hummingbird. Males have glittering green plumage with violet throat patches. And the violet saberwing on the right is the largest hummingbird in Central America, nearly 6 inches long. Their decurved bill is adapted for feeding at heliconia flowers. The lesser violet ear is a medium-sized hummingbird with shimmering green plumage and violet ear patches. The magenta-throated wood star, I love that name, is a tiny hummingbird endemic to Costa Rica and Western Panama. It's found nowhere else on Earth. Males have an incredible magenta pink gorget that flashes in the sunlight. And after a big day of birding and spotting a bolus spider, nothing beats watching the sunset with a glass of wine. These moments of relaxation between intense birding sessions are what make a trip truly memorable. Cheers and congratulations to Bonnie. In the next morning, before we left, we took an early morning watch to see the elusive black-breasted wood quail. We didn't see him, but we had a thermal camera with us, and this secretive ground-dwelling bird is far more often heard than seen. Go ahead. There, that brilliant white, that's them moving. There's another two. It's so evocative to hear that sound, and it was really pretty dark when we were walking that trail. All right, the third stage, descending into the Pacific lowlands and the Tarcoles River area. It's a dramatically different habitat, hot, dry, tropical forests along the Pacific coast. And there we descend from the, descended from the cool heights of Monteverde into the sweltering Pacific coast. The descent from the mountains to the lowlands is dramatic. The vegetation changes rapidly from cloud forest to dry tropical forest as you lose elevation. Once you get to the flat of the sea, it's immediately the heat is intense. The Pacific lowlands of Costa Rica are the hottest and driest parts of the country, especially during the dry season. One of my only photographs, and not a particularly good one, but still. Brown pelicans are a familiar sight along the Pacific coast. They're the only pelican species that dives for fish from the air, plunging bill first from heights of 60 to 70 feet above the water. Their throat pouch can hold up to 3 gallons of water, which they drain before swallowing their catch. And these guys are just taking a breather. Moving a few miles inland, the dry forest habitats near the Tarcoles are excellent for owls. The sparse open woodland makes it easier to spot roosting owls during the day, if you know where to look. And fortunately, our guide Eric knew all the spots and could get us on them. Ferruginous pygmy owl is a tiny but fierce predator, only about 6 inches long, but capable of taking prey as large as itself. And note the false eyes, dark spots on the back of its head that mimic eyes, confusing both predators and mobbing songbirds into thinking the owl is watching them, even when it's facing away. That's just a remarkable sequence. Exactly the same shot, and it just turned its head. Another magnificent shot. The Pacific screech owl is found in dry semi-arid habitats of western Costa Rica. Seeing a pair together like this is wonderful since they're usually found singly. And if that doesn't look like tree bark, I don't know what does. So just to be able to spot them was amazing. The turquoise-browed motmot is often considered one of the most beautiful birds in Central America, and it is the national bird of both El Salvador and Nicaragua. The stunning turquoise eyebrow stripe and the long racket-tipped tail are unmistakable. Like other motmots, they create the racket tips by preening away the weaker barbs near the end of the tail. And on the left, the male is giving a spider, it looks like, to the female. And if you look at the close-up of the female, she looks skeptical. Our bus came to a screeching halt when we spotted these. The double-striped thick knee, what a name, is a wonderful oddity. It's a large-eyed, long-legged shorebird that lives in dry grasslands rather than near water. They're largely nocturnal, and those big yellow eyes are adapted for night vision. And it does have thick knees, but it's kind of unkind to say that, I think. The common potu, the ultimate master of camouflage. By day, potus sit motionless on broken tree stumps, stretching upward with eyes closed to perfectly mimic a broken branch. Their mottled bark-like plumage makes them virtually invisible. At night, they open those enormous eyes to hunt flying insects. The head detail shot shows why they win the Chewbacca look-alike contest. Those wild, whisker-like ricto bristles around the bill help funnel insects into their cavernous mouths. But if that doesn't look like Chewbacca, I don't know what does. The Hotel Villa Lapas was our base in the Pacific lowlands, and despite the intense heat, this lodge offered excellent birding right from the grounds, including a restaurant deck which could double as a birding platform, so you could enjoy a snack and watch birds at the same time. Scarlet macaws, perhaps the most flamboyant and loudest neighbors you can imagine. These magnificent parrots were once widespread throughout Central America, but are now largely restricted to Costa Rica's Central Pacific coast and the Osa Peninsula. Conservation efforts, including nest box programs and anti-poaching patrols, have helped populations recover in this area. They mate for life, and pairs are always seen together. And in fact, there were some of those nest boxes on the Villa Lapas's property. They looked like telephone pole transformers. The pale-billed woodpecker is the largest woodpecker in Costa Rica. With its bright red crest and pale ivory bill, it's reminiscent of what is probably the likely extinct ivory-billed woodpecker of North America. They excavate large cavities in dead trees, which later become homes for many other species. The white-whiskered puffbird is a sit-and-wait predator, perching motionless for long periods before darting out to snatch large insects or small lizards. Their fluffy plumage gives them the perpetually disheveled, puffy look. And the Carrara National Park is one of the best places to find them, along with many other species. No swimming signs seem to be superfluous, but I have to take a picture of that. Go figure, yeah. You don't need to say any more. Go ahead. Spider monkeys were watching us closely as they tried to drive us away. Agile primates use their prehensile tails like a fifth limb to swing through the canopy. See, they weren't happy about us being there. And if you watch the one on the left, you'll see its tail curl up and grab that branch behind. There it goes. They will throw things at you and try to get you to go away. They're an endangered species in Costa Rica, threatened by habitat fragmentation. The Tecoloas River boat tour was one of the trip's highlights. The Tecoloas River is famous for having one of the highest concentrations of American crocodiles in the world, and the mangrove-lined waterways are excellent for water birds. There you have one of the crocodiles keeping a close eye, watchful eye on our boat. There's some individuals can be up to 15 feet in length. The picture on the right is a Mutt and Jeff type of picture. Mm-hmm. On the left, you have a bat falcon, an exciting raptor, and then a brown pelican. The bat falcon is a small, powerful bird that specializes on catching bats at dusk, but also takes swallows and other small birds, agile birds, on the wing. And then in the lower left, the roseate spoonbills added a splash of pink to the mangroves. The bare-throated tiger heron with a freshly caught fish. The bare throat refers to the patch of yellow-green skin on the throat that can flush brighter during display. They are patient stalkers, like all herons, standing motionless at the water's edge before striking with lightning speed. And just as we stepped off the boat, the skies opened up. Go ahead. The rainforest after all. It's a good reminder to always have reindeer and waterproof bags for your optics and cameras. We just thundered them. Our final habitat, the southern highlands of the Talamanca Mountains and the valley of the Seivert River. This area is home to some of Costa Rica's most sought-after birds, including the legendary resplendent quetzal. The Talamanca Range is a global biodiversity hotspot with many endemic species. And there's our map. We had to go along the coast, and then we turned inland and up to get to the Seivert Valley. We went from the tropical heat of the lowlands into the cool Talamanca Mountains, which was a dramatic change both in temperature and habitat. Here's our lodge, the Sueños de Bosque Lodge in the Seivert Valley. It's a peaceful mountain retreat with lush grounds, perfect for highland birding, and the cool temperatures were of wonderful relief after the sweltering lowlands. And the moment everyone had been hoping for, the resplendent quetzal, widely considered to be one of the most beautiful birds in the world. The quetzal was sacred to the ancient Maya and Aztec civilizations. Males sport iridescent green plumage and trail streamers up to 3 feet long. They depend on wild avocado trees for food, swallowing the fruits whole and regurgitating the pits. The Seivert Valley is one of the most reliable places in the world to find them. And there's one of them on the ground, which is an unusual sight. They're normally perched in the canopy. We had incredible luck in seeing the quetzals in this close up and on the ground. The iridescent green plumage changes color depending upon the angle of light, sometimes appearing golden, sometimes cobalt blue or emerald green. The word quetzal comes from a native word for precious or sacred, and Guatemala's currency is named after this bird. Go ahead. So male and female here. They were regurgitating pits too. Here's the back view on the left of the resplendent quetzal, showing the incredible iridescent greenback plumage. The male's upper tail coverts, and not actually the tail itself, extend far beyond the true tail, creating these famous flowing streamers. Those feathers were used in elaborate headdresses by the Mesoamerican royalty. And on the right, you have a head detail, which seems to be the inspiration for every punk rock haircut. Just incredible. Next morning, we took the Bone Rattler Express, a bumpy ride up the mountains for a downhill birding walk with stunning views. Go ahead.
Come on, Andy. Yeah. That's a good idea.
I took the cushy seat up front, we were on the benches. I don't know how that happened.
Are you going to bring that to Tanzania?
Yeah.
Come on, Andy.
Up at the top, we have a view from a mountain overlook that was spectacular. A panoramic view of the Seivert River Valley and the surrounding highland forest. That day at lunch, we went to Miriam's Quetzals. This was my favorite lunch of the entire trip. Miriam's is a famous birding spot where quetzals sometimes come to feed on the avocado trees right outside the restaurant. We didn't see any that day, but we had one of the best family style meals that we had. I was over the moon for it. And finally, returning to San Jose from the Talamanca Mountains for departure via the Pan American Highway. So from the Seivert Valley along that highway, very twisty road, with several exciting bird stops along the way. For lunch, we ran into a Modus tower. Just a reminder that the new tower that we have set up at the Howard County Conservancy is just one of thousands in the International Wildlife Tracking System that uses automated radio telemetry stations to track birds and even insects that are fitted with tiny radio transmitters. This was the Paradiso Quetzal Lodge. It too had a hummingbird gallery. This one at a highland location, attracting a different set of species than the Monteverde one. Highland hummingbirds in Costa Rica include several range-restricted species found nowhere else. Go ahead. And if you watch as this plays, you'll see the light changing on them, and you'll see flashes of color. Also, if you'll notice up on the top, there's a volcano hummingbird sitting there doing nothing until he gets disturbed. But the flashes are just incredible. That finally got chased away. And then you can hear them chattering.
Those are fiery for them.
Yep, there's some in there. Yep.
So this is on those things. My fault.
And there you have 4 spectacular hummingbirds, highland hummingbirds. On the upper left, the fiery-throated hummingbird is endemic to Costa Rica and western Panama. In the right light, its throat blazes with orange, red, yellow, and blue, as here. Considered by many to be the most beautiful hummingbird in the region. To the right, upper, the volcano hummingbird's tiny highland endemic, found only in Costa Rica's highest elevations. To the lower right, the Talamanca hummingbird is another regional endemic. And the white-throated mountain gem, another wonderful name, rounds out a quartet of species that birders travel from around the world to see. Also at this stop, there was a lush garden, and we found the buffy-crowned wood partridge. It's a secretive ground bird of the highland forests. Finding this one in a garden setting with its companion was a lovely surprise. And this is probably the best example of Eric getting us on something. This was about 30 yards into brush that you could not, see through. He got all of us on it. He got the scope on it. He got pictures, and he got the photographers to get pictures. Amazing. Our final stop with the Mountain of Death, the Suero de la Muerte, at over 11,000 feet. It's one of the highest points on the Pan American Highway. The name comes from the treacherous conditions travelers historically faced when passing through. This windswept summit is covered with communications antennas and is a unique high-altitude scrub habitat called Paramo. Despite its forbidden name, it holds some special birds. Are you looking at me? The volcano junco is the original angry bird. This highland endemic is found only at the highest elevations of Costa Rica's mountains, typically above 10,000 feet. It's one of the most range-restricted birds in Central America. That fierce expression and yellow eyes certainly justify its name. They forage on the ground in the sparse Paramo vegetation, rarely descending to lower elevations. And as you can see, this one was banded, so keeping track of that one. Costa Rica truly amazed and delighted all of us. With 315 species in 10 days, incredible wildlife encounters from resplendent quetzals to impossibly rare bolus spiders, 4 distinct habitats, wonderful food, and warm hospitality of the Costa Rican people. It was a trip of a lifetime. If you haven't visited Costa Rica for birding, we highly recommend it. Pura vida. Are there any questions?
We have time for some questions.
Okay.
I just asked Tom if you could repeat the questions.
Yes, absolutely, I will, because we don't have a mic. Yes, David.
I have a question. I just want to know if we can get the photographers to stand up.
Well, there's a number of photographers, but the 3 mains here are Bonnie,
Right.
Guy. Go ahead, stand up. Bonnie, Guy, and Yi. Also, Jane Chandler. Yeah, Jane Chandler. Here, have some photographers. Robin. And Robin, that's right, Robin contributed as well. Okay.
Thank you.
They really were the stars of the show. I just had to thread it together. Other questions? Yes.
How many hours per day were you birding?
How many hours a day were we birding? I would say that we started about 6 o'clock every morning, then had breakfast, and then went for the rest of the day until it got dark. So it's all day. Question in the back.
Did you get a snow cap?
I'm sorry?
A snow cap?
Snow-capped hummingbird? No, we did not. No?
I forget, Mario, I forget his second name, used to run Presenter. Is he still involved?
So the question is, Mario
Cordova.
is still involved with Crescentia? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But he was not our guide.
Yeah.
Another question?
This is the question. I just want to say, thank you very much, Tom. You did a wonderful job, and thanks to the photographers. I know you all worked together on this. This is just a wonderful program.
Thank you. Thank you. I was just trying not to embarrass myself or them. Okay? Yes.
How many days was the trip and how many nights did you spend at each hotel?
The trip was 10 days, and we spent at least 2 nights at every hotel except the first and the last. So usually 3. And that's good because you need time to get into an area and to go to the different spots there. Yes.
What might you have picked up on the Caribbean slate? What birds might you have picked up?
On the Caribbean slopes? I don't know. So the question is, what birds would we have seen on the Caribbean side? That's for another trip when you go over there. Bonnie, do you want to comment on the Caribbean side?
No, I mean, I was just gonna say, each trip has been very different. with, you know, going to different areas and the different birds that you'll see. Each one, this was my 5th trip, so each one has been very different, you know, different birds and different areas. I have planned these trips to be so it's very general to hit a lot of habitats instead of just going to one region to do kind of like a listing trip. Yeah, I know you had said, how long did we do? You'll notice in some of the pictures, not everyone was in all the pictures. There were times like the video of the toucans, when they did one of the walks, Judy and I just stayed on the deck for the whole day and had, as you know, a lot of birds just coming right there. So these are much more easy trips. They're not listing trips, even though we get a ton of birds. So if you choose not to go out on one of the excursions, you can stay at the lodge and there's as many birds there.
Thanks. Other questions? Yes, Brent.
So you said that the Quetzals would eat like avocados. I have to assume those are not the normal, the ones
Those
that we
are,
have.
yeah, they are. Quetzals eat avocados. They are not the big ones that you find at Giant. They are little tiny guys like that, and the pits are about the size of cherry pits.
Okay,
And they do regurgitate them. We have some. My problem in putting this presentation together was there was so many pictures that were wonderful. We wanted to share them all. I just tried to get the most stunning ones out there so that you could all get a feel for the color and variety. But one of them shows Quetzal actually spitting that seed out. Bonnie?
How many pictures did Guy take?
That's just how many pictures the guy take. I don't think he can count that high, but
Maybe 5,000.
maybe 5,000. So, and he gave all of them to me to try to sort through. So, I hope for our guests from Costa Rica here that I didn't tell any whoppers about the country.
Actually, I wanted to thank you for the wonderful presentation. We were amazed. We haven't seen many of those there. Thank you so much. No, thank you.
All right, so she had just said that she's from Costa Rica and had not seen many of those birds. You'll have to go on a trip to Costa Rica. Okay. There was another question, I think, out there, maybe not. Yeah, go ahead.
Packing, obviously you had to pack different types of clothes for different types of habitats. So like, were you limited to like one luggage or two?
So the question is about what did we pack to wear there? How do you be prepared? Generally, it was lighter clothing. Most of the time, it was very temperate. Even in the cooler highlands, it was still light jacket type of cool. But you need rain gear. And you need clothing that will dry quickly. That helps to good footwear, what you would expect. And as far as bags, I think we just have one.
You could take what you wanted.
You can take what you wanted, but you had to get in that bus, right? We all had to get in the bus with us. Go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, when I went, the year before you went, when we went up to the top of the Talamanca mountain, the guide said it was very, very cold up there.
Okay, so
We all laughed. I thought it was 45 or 50 or something like that.
right, so John is saying that the definition of cold is different for a Costa Rican native than it is for us. And so light jacket weather, sweatshirt weather is what was there. Being in layers is there. Yes.
I'll just amplify on that. We were at the Parezo Quetzal Lodge. No, it was cold as can be. And you had 4 or 5 blankets on your bed and a hot water bottle. So they knew it was going to be cold, and it was cold.
So David Sandler is saying that sometimes it can get really cold and you needed lots of blankets that were supplied by the hotel to make it through the night. Yeah. Yeah, Bonnie?
I was just gonna mention one thing too with these trips that are. I was gonna mention one thing that's so nice with these trips, like you were saying, Mario is the owner of the company. And he has, expanded his company's doing really well. So he has a number of different guides now, but he still is the one that plans the trips. And once you land in Costa Rica, the driver is there with a sign, Howard County Bird Club. From that moment, you don't do anything. Every single thing is taken care of until they drop you at the airport. Like even ordering your lunch as you're driving from place to place. So you get there, you can just eat. And so no time is wasted that you could look at birds, but all the meals you're birding, you're looking at birds while you eat.
And the best meals.
The best meals and freshen up my pina colada. No, just kidding. Yes, Kurt.
I just want to point out, I have pictures of one time when Bonnie's breakfast was being poached by a summer tanager.
Okay, so Kurt says that he has a picture in Costa Rica of Bonnie's breakfast being poached by a summer tanager. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. All right. Well, thank you everyone for attending.
That was great, Tom. Thank you for coming. Next month, the speaker will be Jean Scarpilla with Shorebirds 101.